Righto, now we've got our work experience on this week at Melbourne, so I thought we'd do the right thing and we'd start with the first question from the work experience children or young adults. Molly, you're going to start us off. What have you got for me?
Have the changes at Richmond this week affected how you're preparing for the game?
We'll concentrate on ourselves, Molly. So I'm really keen. I'll be able to answer questions about Melbourne, but we'll have a look. We always have a look at the opposition side to see what they're up to with regards to selection. Yeah, Richmond have made a few changes, but you know we're fairly pleased with the side that we've got to go up against them. Oh, good start, Molly. Good question. Well done. Not really, Pete. I'd say that Damien and the other Richmond coaches sort of coach a similar game plan like most of us. It's not too hard to work out the way that each one of us wants our sides to play. So in terms of that, we're still fairly positive that we understand the way that Richmond want to play. So that's okay. That's right.
What they've been through throughout the week, do you feel that they're perhaps vulnerable? Is there a chance? Is this the time to go?
No, look, I find it really, really difficult to comment on other clubs and what they're up to. Our focus is on. We've just had our team meeting. Our focus is purely on us and what we want to do and the way that we want to play. We're in a certain developmental phase and we're concentrating on that. So I didn't go there with the players. That's not for me to speculate. We're just focusing on what we're doing. Yeah, we have. We were really pleased last week in certain aspects of the game and very disappointed in others. One of the things we were pleased with was the amount of footy we got inside 50. We certainly looked this week to improve the quality of those entries, and we'd also look to improve the way in which our forwards work together. We felt that there were quite a few ending up going for the same ball, so we've done a fair bit of work this week with our forward structure. But mentioning to the mids about the quality, the types of kicks and where we want the balls to go. So we've spoken about it, trained it, and we want to put it into practice tomorrow.
Are you continuing to be happy with what you're seeing? You talk about improvements in one aspect there. Are you continuing to be happy with what you're seeing?
We can see development. Happy's strong when you get beaten by 10 goals, I reckon. But we can certainly, there are certain aspects of the game that we see our players developing, which is pleasing. But there's certain aspects of the game that we're not pleased with, and we need to continue to coach and work on those really hard. Yeah, they were, and with both those players coming back from soft tissue injuries, we felt the best way to go was to bring them back through the VFL and give them a full game of footy before making them available for AFL selection.
I know you said as a coaching panel you guys don't look at Richmond and how many players they've got out. Is it something that you address with your players? Because they've had several changes. I guess do you have to talk to your players about that to try and get them into the mindset that they need to go?
No, we didn't. No, all we did was present the selected Richmond side and just spoke about those players and their style of play. Didn't mention number of changes or anything like that. I don't think that that has an impact on our boys at all. Yeah, pretty good. He's back. He's back in the state, which is handy. Long trip back in a car from Brisbane. He seems really good in himself, and there's an outside chance that he might only miss 1 or 2 games. So we'll monitor that. He'll be in today, so the doctors catch up with him every day. But yeah, pretty good for what he went through, I think. I think with Matthew, the way that he works hard on his game at training and the little extras that he's put into his weekly routine, I still think there's a fair bit of development in him. He's quite a strong lad. He's got really good endurance. Not 100% certain where Matthew Bates' best position is, but I think in certain terms that can be a bit of a positive. We know he can play forward, and he's shown this year at times he's quite confident in the midfield, which he's done at VFL level. And he might even be he's one of those players too. Obviously, we're making a few little changes around where players are playing. He's quite a good kick. So somewhere down the track we might have a look at Matty Bate in the half-back flank, see where he goes there.
Mike, just going back to Brad Green, where do you think his future's at? Is he at a stage where he's facing a real uphill battle to get back to himself?
No, he's not. His first, well, the latest little battle he had was to recover from his thigh strain, which he's done, and he's been really diligent with his rehab. Now, you know, what Brad needs to do is get through a full VFL game to enable him to put his hand up for AFL selection. So, you know, everyone will be selected or not selected on their merits.
Sam Boyce is sort of been on the fringes. Where does he need to improve to stop being such a surprise?
Yeah, Bleasy's played a dozen games of league footy, so clearly he's in a learning the game, how it all works, what it looks like, and you know, when young kids come into the side, what you want to do is see them have consistent performances. So, you know, Sam will. That's what he's working on. He's got a lot of offensive talent, Sam, and a lot of pace. So we just need to make sure that he's consistent in all areas of the game. But he'll be a good one, I think. He's going to be okay.
So last week's game again, Jack Watts for a couple of minutes, Jonathan Brown got hold of him. Is that sort of a deliberate decision as a learning process, or?
Well, it was at the time where Tom McDonald went off, and it was also at the time where just as Tom had come off and he was coughing up his lungs, the other trainer ran in and told us that James Saller had nicked his hamstrings. That wasn't ideal. The positive thing of that, Pete, I think that we had no qualms in Jack Watts standing Jonathan Brown. You know, it did. You know, they kicked 2 goals, but the ball came in very quickly and straight out of the centre. But I reckon that's a really positive thing because, you know, 8 weeks ago we wouldn't have let Jack Watts stand on Jonathan Brown, and he's developed. He's played. I think he's been back now for 7 or 8 weeks and been really consistent. So just part of his development. I think it's really important. Righto, boys and girls, got another one? Who we got? Got a question, boys, to finish the press conference? Sure. What have you got?
How do you plan on shutting down the run of the league?
Excellent question. Now, we know the Tigers have got midfielders who can run, and he's one of them. Trent Cotchin's another one. Grig can really run, so it's certainly something that we'll look at. But I can't tell you which player's going to play on him because I get fined for that sort of stuff. But you keep up your journalistic skills. Good job. Okay. See you guys.